has come to our family.
I'm Reginald Gickington, and you can call me Reggie, and today we'll be continuing our painting journey through the miniatures of the Darkest Dungeon board game by Mythic Games. Today we're going to handle another of the final bosses, and we're doing the Mammoth Cyst, and along with it, the White Cell Stalk. The Mammoth Cyst is one of the largest minis in the entire box, possibly the largest. Luckily, despite its size, it's not too complicated, and I'm going to break it down for you, so let's get started. We're going to do the White Cell Stalk first, since it's much smaller. Now the box comes with 3, but you only need 1 mechanically. Be that as it may, since they're so small, it doesn't take much longer to do 3 than it does to do 1. We're going to start with an all-over of Warlord Purple across the entire thing. The White Cell Stalk, despite its similarities, is much paler and pinker than the antibody. So, our next step is going to be Lustful Purple, with a heavy dry brush all over. We're then going to highlight with an even lighter shade of pink, Toxic Boils, which we're using on the tentacles and on the top of its head. Next up comes some detail work. We're doing the eyes and teeth, and for those it's going to be Doomdeath Black and Rakarth Flesh respectively. And when that's done, finish off the White Cell Stalk with the usual basing and shadows. With the cell stalk quickly and easily taken out of the way, we can move on to the star of the show. We're going to start the Mammoth Cyst off with a 1-to-1 mix of Royal Purple and Alien Purple to get a rich and vibrant dark purple color. The next step is going to be Warlord Purple, which we're going to dry brush all over the cyst. A lot of the Eldritch creatures in the final dungeon will have a similar series of steps, and one of the ones you'll see a lot is dark purple bases with magenta dry brushes, because of how effectively it creates the appearance of dark and disgusting flesh. Now we're bringing in some black. Doomdeath Black is going on all the various eyeballs, while the rest of the cyst is getting an all-over of black wash, which is going to help darken the flesh even more. We're going to do the bright pink tentacles next. We're starting with Lustful Purple all over the tentacles, and then we're going back and highlighting them using Toxic Boils by doing a ring on each of the suckers, as well as along the edge of the tentacle. The recesses are properly darkened now, but we gotta pump up those highlights. We're going to use Warlord Purple, dry brushed on the tendons at the top and the bottom of the cyst. However, we want the center of the cyst to be its brightest part, and we also want to avoid spilling magenta over onto the eyes that we just painted, or the tentacles. So for the main body of the cyst, we're instead going to manually place our highlights following the raised surfaces. Next up, we're going to detail a few facial features. First up is the teeth, for which we're applying Rakarth flesh. Then, for the eye, the big center one, we're going to apply buff, which, over black, will not have great coverage initially, so be sure to use multiple thin coats rather than one thick coat, so that we can preserve details like the bulging veins. The eye looks appropriately yellow now, but the original art has a more orangish hue around where it meets the eyelid. For that, we're going to apply a bit of Fuegan orange around the eyelids, and bring that up to about 1/3 of the way down the eye. Then, with a wet brush, pull the orange out to over the rest of the eye. The goal is to create a smooth gradient from most orange around the skin to the least amount of orange when it reaches the center of the eye. We're also, while we have our washes out, going to use black wash on the tentacles all over those suckers. To return some of that original buff color, we're now going to use a thin layer of buff over the center of the eye, going about halfway down, so that the gradient goes from orange to buff. We're also going to highlight the suckers on the tentacles by doing a little ring of toxic boil on each one. For the eyes all over the body, we're going to do a coat of gloss varnish, remembering to reapply after we varnish at the end. Of course, we always have to finish off with the much-loved base and shadows. And that's the Cyst and Stalk done. Told you they'd be easy. We're closing in on the end now, with just about all of the bosses done. The only thing left for us now is the final threat. The Heart of Darkness looms ahead, and we will not be found wanting. Have fun painting your Darkest Dungeon miniatures, and feel free to tag me on Instagram, @ReggieGick, to show me how yours turn out. Links to my affiliated socials can be found in the description. Feel free to subscribe or like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another painting tutorial.